All right, hey, what's up, everybody? We're gonna give this a shot. Technical difficulties all over the place. On one side of this, my webcam is apparently looking at my keyboard. Oops. Hi, everybody. Hi, my name's Rifkin. It's nice to meet you. On the other hand, we got Zombie kind of joining us, I guess. Hey, hello. Zombie Grub. Zombie Garubi. Alright, well, I gotta fix my webcam. Well, she figures out what's going on. Look at this pigsty behind. This is my suitcase. It just exploded behind me. I did laundry and then didn't put it away. And just deal with it, guys. My room's a fucking mess. But okay, I see Zombie Grub, so that's a good sign. Can you hear me? Hello? She's looking perplexed, maybe even a little frustrated. To explain our current situation, for those who are unaware and haven't been following closely, Zombie Grub is going to be in Korea until December 20th or so, maybe even a little bit later. I came home about a week after being in Korea. Good times. Wish I could have stayed longer. Honestly, couldn't afford to. But I had to get back on casting as well. We'll see if we can get her technical stuff sorted. I guess, one second here, as I'm gonna sneeze. Oh man, that was a double whammy. Anyways, so we'll try and get this sorted for Zombie Grub. If she can't get things sorted, maybe we'll go without video if that fixes it. I don't know.
That
Can you hear
didn't.
me? Oh,
Wasn't fix it. Hello.
hey, how's it going?
It's okay.
All right, well, I was just explaining to the streamer situation, and to cap it off, she's in a PC bang, or no, PC bong, right now in Korea. So, she's again, she's still living there for about a month, guys, but she'll be trying to cast as much as she can. She was in another place earlier that I guess things were set up and good for, but it was a little bit too noisy. So hopefully this new location's a bit better. I'm also hoping you don't lag out a bunch during the games or something.
Yeah, actually, I can see why this is a quieter PC.
Because it's no bueno.
Like the computer is a little bit laggy, and I have to download the English pack for StarCraft, which is what I'm waiting for.
Ooh, okay. Perhaps not quite what you hoping to have happen, but all right. Well, hopefully it doesn't take too long. Luckily, no lobbies are up yet. Things are only actually very literally just getting going here, guys. So hopefully it won't take too long. But yeah, the first match today should be a good one. It's a group stage, so pretty standard stuff. Each best of... Wait, are they best of fives or best of threes? I should look this up real quick. Oh, Jeremy told me earlier. Because they're taking like a 5-minute break. Okay, they're all best of threes. And this is going to be about 5 minutes of downtime between each best of three.
Okay.
Drogo also fighting to find off the same problem I did, right? He's asking how to change his portrait because he wants to use his WCS portrait, as those are now available. But it's no longer in your profile tab like before, and it's not really intuitive that you'd have to go to the collections tab. So this took me a while to figure out how to change portraits on my end as well. But yeah, if you guys purchase the WCS portrait packs, I think all of them are available. I could be wrong. I see a lot of faces here. They all look fantastic. But we do get caught up in some shoutouts as the stream did get kicked off, and we had some people resub and sub already. So today started off with a $10 donation from Snipe Hunt. It said, "Love you guys." Longhorns 49 hit us up with a 2-month resub. Fear Dragon hit us up with a 34-month resub. Ace RT in chat if he's still around. Wired 1 for 22 months. He says SC2 forever. I'm assuming he's a fan of the Sandlot. Run-In of Dreams hit us up with a 37... Sit down, Fear Dragon, because the 37-month resub just came in. This is Escape forever and ever, my friend. We shall gorge on StarCraft to the end of time. That's a wonderfully worded message. DBDO has resubbed for 10 months as well and says, "You guys are alive! Classes have prevented me from watching the stream for so long. How are your arm, Rifkin? Oh, how is your arm, Rifkin? My arms are dandy. I'm pretty much done with physio. This arm is still weaker than it was before. There's no doubt about it, but that's just going to take time to fix. Judging by the visual frustration, something's going wrong over there.
It just stopped downloading.
Oh, for no reason. Excellent. Well, like I said, if this starts early, I could just do a best of 3 without you. Um, but yeah, so Zombie Grub didn't move into a hallway. If you guys missed the start of the stream, again, a quick recap. TLDR, she's still in Korea. She's casting from PC Bong, which is basically an internet cafe. And we're going to hope things go well. Thank you, Swords Noobs, for the 33-month resubs. Says, make Terran great again. That reminds me, did you see the Reddit thread we posted about, or I posted rather, about the potential Korean tournament name?
I did. Make Korea great again.
I kind of want to roll with it a little bit and do like a bunch of like Trump satire. Like,
it's offensive to my culture, Rifkin.
Well, what I found really funny that I don't remember if I tweeted or not was at the Korean airport. I'm in the lounge, and first off, oh my god, guys, it was a fancy as fuck lounge. I'll talk more on that later. But there was Trump magazines everywhere, and not a single one of them was like a positive outlook on Trump. They were all like English satire or like, is this Trump again in 2017? Like, I was like, why are these all over Korea? But interesting to see how that'll play out. But yeah, for those who don't know, we announced it. We're actually, this part hasn't been announced, so you guys tuning in live right now are the first to hear about it. We're actually going to be working with Golden, if you guys remember that wonderful Zerg son of a gun. We had the bright idea. We were doing our scheduling stuff, and I was talking to Golden about meeting him for lunch, and I said, why don't we ask Golden if he wants to get involved? So he's going to do Korean casting, and more importantly, try to grab people to play in the tournaments. But we're going to be hosting 4 weekly Korean tournaments in December. Each one's going to have at least $300 in prizing. Plus, we'll be opening it up with Match Arena, so if people want to donate, go for it, make it even better. And we have to set the dates for it. We have to create a name for it, but that's coming in December, guys. So look forward to it. Corvin1 just subbed brand new with Twitch Prime. New sub of the day. Woo!
Yay! I made it worse. It's not doing anything now.
Can you not like just find whoever owns the PC Bong and be like, hey, so
StarCraft, fix it.
Yeah, StarCraft, dude.
Literally, it's actually Star 2.
Actually, so
close.
There's a chance we'll get started without you. I'll let you know if this actually kicks off. We're in the lobby for New Gettysburg. Drogo versus Beastyqt. This is... wait, why is this on the balance test mod? Wait, why is this on balance test mod? Isn't it just straight up live now?
Oh my god, the English pack was not worth this.
So we've hosted the lobby on the balance test mod, and I'm trying to figure out why. So the patch is straight up live. But yeah, that does beg some discussion. First off, I will say, outside of watching Nathaniel's stream, I have no experience with the current patch of the game, guys. This is all new to me. I'm really excited for it, and I can't wait to see how stupid things are. I've seen some tweets and I've seen some discussion about how people don't like the way this currently is going. Some people upset with the fact that it's turtly. Some people upset with the fact that it's cheesy. Some people upset with the fact that Bio and Mag are both viable for Terra. No, what's up with that? I will just say, for me, I'm excited to see new things. And I am actually a big fan of turtle games. I know that we kind of whine and moan and groan, but statistics are there, and it was the highest viewership numbers on any stream, whether it was ours or WCS or wherever, whenever it was a Swarmhouse Met game. So people can say they hate turtle matches all they want, but we're all disgusting creatures who just tune in to watch it regardless.
I don't know, man. I actually don't know if that's too true either, though. Like, I was talking to Scarlett 7 hours ago. It's gonna get so confusing. Yesterday, today, I don't know.
Or
yeah, that's why I was talking to her.
Okay.
We went out to dinner. And she says that like mech isn't actually like, or rather turtle isn't that much of a problem, like as much as Twitter says. But I don't know if I believe her.
Well,
she also says hydras are really good, but I believe that.
I believe that as well. I again, I got no idea what's going on, but this TvP, the thing I'm most interested in, and this is some like information you guys didn't have. You know, talking to some people at Blizzard, I've heard the expressed concern, or not concern, almost like desire that they want to make mech viable versus Protoss. Now, I'm not saying, like, and I really want to emphasize this, I'm not saying that's like what David Kim said or anything like that, but it's what the murmurs and the discussions have been leaning towards. So with the tanks being better, with the Vikings being changed, everything here still seems very susceptible to Immortals to me, so I don't know how well this will go, but I'm hoping to see some cool mech stuff. Especially out of Beasty of all people. Beasty's the guy who inspired Beyond. Let's consider that for a moment, okay? Beyond, WCS World Champion, was taking like Beasty's replays and VODs and studying them at the start of Legacy, okay? So Beasty in a new patch, Beasty at the start of Legacy of the Void, like these are the times in which he excels because he does like to try new things, whereas a lot of other players just get hung up on older strategies and older ways to play.
That's certainly true. We might actually see like still a lot of players literally just play like same build orders from the last patch, which I don't think is going to work out that well. I could be wrong though. Like, I mean, the 2-on-1 could still be good. Yeah, I got in, so now I can fix, because the reason I needed English was not because like I needed like I could figure most of it out, but I couldn't figure out how to change my sound settings.
Did I just get Twitter botted? Hang on. Not in terms of followers, but a tweet I made has like fucking 20 likes on it already. And like 99% of the time, if I'm linking stuff in chat and saying, guys, go retweet and like this, nobody fucking does. This thing has 7 retweets and 22 likes, and I don't recognize any of these names. Like, none of these are, I think, real accounts.
Maybe not. I just got a pending invite in StarCraft from a guy named Stalker. Okay. I don't think I should accept that.
Excuse me. Aramy and Beastyqt actually retweeted it. Those people are real, but the rest of these I think are actually fucking fake accounts, dude.
Someone was trying to help you.
Thank you, whoever, but I don't know what that was meant to do. I got likes on a tweet. Oh my fucking god, that's so loud. This has been broken for so long, and I've enjoyed it being broken because I didn't have to hear it. Thank you, Riamar. The donation thing. Riamar just donated $25. He's the top Korean caster of the day. And he says hello. Well, actually, more accurately, he says hi. What's up, Riamar? How you doing, man?
I'm going to use Internet Explorer as my second browser.
Oh, God.
It's going to be amazing.
Just kill yourself. Just kill yourself right now.
It's a totally legitimate thing to use in Korea.
By the way, guys, there's a lot to be said about Korea. But, like, the number one thing for me was like, damn, Korea has a lot of freaking stairs. Like, holy freaking moly. Everywhere we went, there was like, okay, sometimes an escalator and sometimes an elevator. But like, most of the time, it was just 100 stairs. Ugh. So I'm, for that part, glad to be gone from Korea.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stairs. But like, okay, I'm looking at Twitter, and like the Korean Twitter's like so different. What the fuck is this? I don't understand.
So we're probably changing channels for some reason, and they're rehosting the game.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right.
I'm not sure why. Did I spell that wrong? I think I did. Are you in any channel, by the way?
Yeah, I'm in. I just joined the new one, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to join, but I don't see anyone there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think I'm in the right one.
Okay, well anyways, so yeah, the question was brought up, like, why are we hosting on, like, the balance test mod when the balance patch is live? So I guess they are rehosting the game, guys. We'll get this party started in just a moment. Sorry for the small delay. Thank you, What's Up Doc, for the, What's Up Doc 2 for the 10-month resub. Says, call me Decadad, because we 10 months into this beach.
Decadad?
I don't know, but I like it.
Decadad. I mean, I guess I get the Deca part, but why is he? Oh, because he's a. But then, like, 10 dads? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I got everything fixed, and I actually logged into Twitter, which I don't know what Korean Twitter was, but it was weird.
It reminds me of the problems we had at the venue, where we're just like, okay, everything's in Korean. Let's just click links until they work.
Yeah,
you guys
basically.
have no idea how difficult it was to pop out the Twitch chat so that we could have it on a second monitor when everything's in Korean and like nothing is where you remember it being. Ugh. Thank you to the Optical Speed for the 10-month resub, and sorry for the 20 minutes now of us just kind of talking and chatting, guys. But we're in the new lobby. Again, we're not trying to pull your strings here. There's actual StarCraft going on, believe it or not.
I don't believe it. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background, but nope. It's jamming. It was, anyways. I don't like the one it's on right now.
No, you can't hear like anything in the background. It's very quiet.
Oh, I mean, that's good news. I guess I've actually been muting just in case, like, someone screams, basically, which could happen.
I think that'll be more fun. It'll add to the ambiance.
I'll just be like, everybody,
Okay, we started without you. Let me see if quitting works. Oh, I hit quit and it said it's removed from the lobby, but then it didn't stop things?
Really?
Wait,
Because I still said Beastyqt.
Okay, we're back in the lobby.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good.
That was so weird. Like, I hit leave, and it showed the full lobby with everybody except me, and the countdown was still going, and I was like, hello?
Well, I gotta be like, that type of careful, like we played Damned, I'm not gonna like alt-tab or anything.
Oh, it's like hands off, when we all had our hands off the keyboard in the air, like, nobody touch the keyboard!
Yeah, like, I'm seriously concerned. Like, right there, it like lagged on like the log or the lobby screen, so not touching anything. It's so hard not to alt-tab though when you're so used to alt-tabbing.
By the way, so there's a really awesome guy we met in Korea. You guys may or may not have heard the name Rapid Casting before. Very nice dude. Didn't know what to expect, but he was a very nice dude. And that night when I went to get a massage on the last night of Korea, he's like trying to teach me how to phonetically say things, like ask for things in Korean, right?
Yeah.
And when he writes massaji, I'm like, is this a joke? Are you messing with me? This sounds like a stereotype. A little bit racist even. Like, oh, Korea massaji. Hello?
That's actually a lot of the Korean words. It's just gonna be like
that's
the
what
word
I learned.
plus like ooh or whatever.
That's what I learned. I was like, okay, this is so weird. So shout out to that guy. That's a whole nother story, guys, for a whole nother moment. We got a shout out to this new sub, Magatsu124 for the Twitch Prime hype. But let's get into the game. Now teammates, not something we could say in the past. At the bottom right side of the map, he's going to be the light blue Darren Beastyqt.
Okay, well, in the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he is PtitDrogo.
Of course, both players rocking out for my insanity.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually... Oh, okay, that's the one good thing about the default overlay. I actually remember to download Game Part of the other PC bong, and I was so proud of myself, but I didn't remember for this one. But that's the one good thing about the default overlay is I can actually, like, the tab for observers is automatically up.
Nice. Thank you, Time to Tell, as well, for the 28-month resub. I think I just heard a double shout-out, so we'll have to look into that afterwards. I'm not sure why it did that sound. Hopefully it won't get too much today. But yeah, so this is patch 3.8. Some people are making jokes. I love Nathaniel saying it's the post-Tankovac era is the best way to describe it. However you guys want to look at it, things have changed up in StarCraft quite a bit. And that means compositions, build orders, and of course, gameplay is going to be different. Now, there are going to be some instances, and some situations where the game is exactly the same as normal, but for example, to give you a bit of an idea, Mech has been made a lot more viable versus Protoss. We saw some players like Lily Canine and others try it out in the past, but now things like Vikings, they do 8 damage bonus versus mechanical when landed. So suddenly landed Vikings are actually pretty beast. You take things like tanks, which have massive damage but can no longer be picked up by medevacs. There's a lot of subtle changes here and there. Of course, the Protoss have their fair change. Carriers have had a big rework on them. So have Dark Templar getting that new blink ability. I have no idea how good or bad any of these things will be, but with a great group of really good players like this today, I think we'll get some nice insight into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the great is about casting, I suppose. Like, I could play this all the time, but I honestly would not know the right build orders, even from just playing. I actually played the patch, like, every day a month ago, or the balance test mod, rather, not the patch, right? And it was different back then. Like, they actually did some subtle changes, so I still don't know what's going on, but I do know that the Viking thing is something that has been there. The DT Blink has been there from the beginning. The Blink never played a big part. I tried Protoss. I tried to implement it, and it's just so hard to get to.
I think it sounds so scary because you consider, like, rushing Blink DTs. Really, it takes so long to research.
Yeah.
Well, ideally be prepared. Now, some bigger voices in the community that have been playing this, one of the ones I found most interesting was actually Artosis' take on this matchup. And not in terms of like, oh my god, tanks are too good or not, but if you guys have been following his Twitter, he does make an interesting point where if Mech and Bio are both equally viable in this matchup, Resonating Glaives looks so cool. If Mech and Bio are both equally viable in the matchup, it's kind of hard for Protoss to scout, and in that regard, it's a little bit unfair. And I can kind of actually get behind that point, because at least with most other builds of any other race, like it's been pretty definitive which direction they're going based on like lack of a gateway or robo timing, things like this. So I'm curious to see whether that will play a big effect in players in the near future or not.
Yeah, it's so hard to say.
This is Cloak Banshee with Widow Mines. Now, I want to talk about why I find this interesting, because for those who don't know, Banshees no longer need the Fusion Core to get the Hyperflight Rotor upgrade, which makes them move fast as heck, by the way. This could just simply be for Cloak and nothing more, in which case, shoutouts to creativity, but see if it goes that direction or not. 4 probes die, not too bad from Beastie. Nice start, nice opener.
Yeah, not bad. Like, it is really cool to see the Widow Mines too, but I guess they're a pretty good defensive unit early on. Or offensive. Like, he's actually sending him across the map. He could have actually sent him through the bridge, but I guess he just anticipated not being able to do that.
Here's why I love and hate this, right? On one hand, you look at BC's vision. He actually hasn't scouted too much other than the Twilight Council. You kind of assume there's going to be detection. Oh, you even saw the robo, excuse me. You kind of assume there's going to be detection. But Widow Mines will bait out detection, so the Cloaked Banshee will be even more useless. I don't like that in that regard.
I love that. Basically, like, okay, so there's a couple different types of people when a new expansion or new patch hits. There's the type that do the same build order in a macro sense and die, like the people who are doing Colossus in the early Legacy of the Void beta. There's people that actually are experimenting, which is great, and doing new build orders. And there's that third person that just is like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so I'm going to all in all the time, which is what Legacy of the Void was for like the first month, because Protoss had no idea what the race was anymore. And I kind of feel like maybe Drogo gets a little bit of that, just doing the good old standard, like, adept all in, which might still work.
Hellions run to the other side of the map. Maybe get some kills, maybe don't. Double Cyclones being reactored out, as you guys can see. These units have been massively reworked. They no longer look the way they used to, and they can only lock onto air units. But they've got like a really fast, like machine gun attack style attack now. You'll see it here in a moment. SCVs in the main might just be kind of subject to death at this point. I don't know. Oh yeah, they also got a health boost. I forgot about this. They went from 120 to 180 health.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, that cyclone would have been dead like much earlier. But I mean, going for the Adepts here, I mean, it still locks on to a War Prism.
Well, other side of the map, I guess the Banshee managed to get about 7 probe kills. Not sure if there's Banshee, the Widow Mine, or what, but basically 7 probes went down on the other side. So both players had relatively low worker counts off this. Nobody really pulling ahead from it. Viking going to pick off the War Prism, should end the attack. And while some more SCVs are dying, this still isn't too bad for Beastie. This could be much, much worse. Especially for how much Drogo dedicated to this.
I mean, it was a 2-base all-in, and it killed an okay amount of workers, but it's not over. Like, almost equal amount of workers, plus the 3rd CC is already on location, turning into an orbital. The War Prism still being alive is a bit of a pain, but the Viking's apparently going to live. Yeah, it's going to live, so it's probably going to be able to chase it off every other time.
My god, like, I really want Vikings to become a part of the meta. 20 damage every 0.7 seconds versus mechanical.
Okay.
I
talked about the blink thing earlier, but I was playing TvT back in like, a month ago on the other patch where Vikings did the same thing. And it was so stupid when you saw them land and you're just like, well, I have tanks. Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, you used to have tanks, exactly. We'll see if the attack can be held. I mean, the Banshee to me sounds like it should be the best part of this. Of course, the Vikings trying to pick off the War Prism, but if the Observer goes down, should he have been able to pick that off? That would have been, that Banshee would be king in this situation. But SCV's getting pulled a little bit worrisome for Beastyqt. He does have that 3rd CC. He's got mules. He's got a lot to lose here before Drogo really takes him out of the game. But BC's already riding on really low numbers. GG.
Yeah, actually, just gonna tap out. GG.
So that's really interesting because Beastie. Okay, there's something to be said about the fact that Drogo's stuck with Adepts, right? Oh, did Adepts get changed in the patch? No, they're actually exactly the same as they used to be, minus their transfer doesn't scout as good, I guess you could say. So for me, it's a little bit weird to see Beastie fall to something that was holdable before, but that's really on him. And I don't feel like it was his composition or his unit choices that were bad, but he got really aggressive with a lot of units, so maybe if he had just stayed at home and cleaned up everything, he would have been better off for it. Again, that brings up the discussion is, like, is turtling the best way to play right now? And for some people, the answer is yes, and for others, no.
I mean, so, like, turtling is not inherently bad. You already talked about, the fact that everyone loves watching those Swarm Host versus mech games, which isn't the point I'm going to make. But, like, in Brood War, you would turtle defensively as, like, the meching Terran, but it would still be interesting because there'd still be, like, pokes and prods and attacks, and it'd be, like, how well can you defend until you get a maxed out army? So turtling like for 20 minutes is probably not the answer, but I definitely think for that game that turtling for the first 8-10 minutes is the answer.
Some of this too, by the way, is worth noting for those who don't know. This group and Group C, which got rescheduled to play on the 25th, they're still going to be played on the old map pool, but the round of 8 is going to be on the new map pool with all the new maps. Well, old recycled maps brought back into it. So I'm really wondering how much of that was cause and effect of New Gettysburg, and if we'll see that persist on new maps or not with the same strategies. Like, again, so much of this is unknown territory for us, and that's frankly a good thing. And actually, this past week while we were in Korea, we got to see some Brood War show matches. And I have never watched competitive Brood War, like, ever. I've seen clips and highlights, but I've never actually sat down and watched a game. And it was interesting to me because I knew what the units did. I knew what the units were. I knew who the players were. But I had no idea how that game was going to play out. Like, I had no idea the effect Corsairs had on, like, Overlords and Overlords detecting DTs and all this stuff. Like, it was really cool to watch for me because it was the unknown. And that's the same kind of excitement I'm feeling here with this patch.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched Brood War. I had no idea what was going on, but I get your sentiment, basically. And it is exciting time. Like, the most exciting time for me has been the Legacy of the Void premiere. Ooh, that's a pretty early STV.
It is. Let's see what it goes off to do. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left, he's down one game in the preliminary match of the day to the light blue Terran player, Beastyqt.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is my Insanity's Drogo.
Of course, this is the O Gaming's International Top Dogs Tournament. This is a group stage for Group D, so plenty of matches yet behind this. I just added the command to Twitch, though. If you guys haven't, make sure to check it out. I posted part 1 of my Korea vlog. I'm planning on posting everything from us flying to Korea to me coming home from Korea. So over the next couple of weeks, make sure to check my YouTube channel and subscribe if you're willing. Exclamation mark Korea in chat, I guess. Anyways, the barracks in the middle of the map, though, is just a single one, and a second SCV didn't follow suit. So I'm curious what BC's planning to do with this. If this will be like the Beyond style proxy everything, or if this is really just one weird barracks.
I think it might just be the single proxy Reaper, but it's a little bit odd because it's behind the barracks. So he might lift it and put it, or behind the rocks. He might lift it and put it over the rocks, because if the Protoss is, like, suspicious, and Beastyqt certainly does proxies, so Drogo should be scouting, which he is. Yeah, he's gonna exactly scout right at those rocks, and because it's over there, he doesn't actually see it. I guess it doesn't take. It probably takes the same amount of time for the Reaper to jump up and jump down than it does to lift the barracks and land it again. So I guess either way. But the point is, it's not in the super, like, common area. And Drogo, well, he's still going to respond pretty well to it.
Right over here is where we've seen Beyond do it plenty of times, so Drogo will scout there next. I mean, it's one Reaper. It's so limited on what it can do because it doesn't have a proxy factory following it up. There's nothing else coming down. It's an expansion.
Yeah.
So BC, in a weird way, kind of baits Drogo into making it a zealot. Okay.
Kind of.
Minerals. You can still maybe get a probe kill or two, but with the Mothership Core coming out timely, it's going to be difficult to get more than that.
I mean, you know, Protosses generally want to be going for gateway expands, so you do usually get, like, a time where the Reaper does, you know, it has a high potential to kill 3+ probes, but not here. Drogo not only scouted for the proxy, he scouted the actual base, which told him there was a proxy. That's why he was scouting for it. And the preparation is pretty solid. Like, a Zealot doesn't obviously kill the Reaper, or shouldn't, but it still, you know, takes a couple of shots. I don't know what the Marine follow-up, like, I guess just one.
And bunker.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But I'd rather have 2 Marines in a bunker than nothing at all.
Yeah. By the way, big thank you to this Mega Man Red in chat. He says, just wanted to stop by and say, order my second Yord watch thanks to BaseTradeTV. Pointing them out, thank you for pointing them out to me. They make excellent gifts. Hell yeah, dude. Holiday season's coming up, and I don't know when, but I'm hoping they'll even enact another bigger deal. Normally they do about 20% off around holidays, so fingers crossed. I actually have a meeting with them sometime this week to discuss tournament stuff anyways, so I'll ask him about that. Thanks, Mega Man Red, though, for buying watches.
Yeah, it's a really great suggestion, I think. It's a good catch-all. Like, even the women's watches are pretty good. My mom gets jealous, my dad has one. Maybe that's what I'll buy her.
I like that they're lightweight, like, for me. I hate having stuff on my wrist. Like, even things like those little paper things that you get to, like, enter parties and clubs and stuff, like, I hate having that on my wrist.
Oh, those things are obnoxious because you can't tear them off. Like, biting at them like a savage.
Yeah, meanwhile, the watch just snaps off, no problem. You're like, yes!
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the state of the game is not bad for either player. You know, Drogo had to respond to the proxy racks. Beastyqt did the proxy racks, but the follow-up in a mech is not too unexpected. And the follow-up into these units that they have high micro potential is also unexpected. I mean, this is something you would follow up in even the last patch. You know, a Cyclone feels... there's good protection with a Cyclone, and then the Liberator can provide maybe the tiniest bit of harassment.
So I'm curious, like, how good of a one catch-all unit the Cyclone is now. For those who don't know, not only was the lock-on changed to only work versus air, it does less damage. Like, 160, I don't think even kills a Mothership Core, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. It was such a good catch-all unit, but that was unfortunately the only thing it was. So that's why they attempted to change it. I'm not sure how effective the change has been. Just I literally don't know. But we'll see. I still think that it's a good unit just because it does still have that potential to lock. Well, to run away basically, with even without a lock on.
So the Liberator wasn't changed much. The major tweaks on this was it lost its bonus damage versus light. Still not bad damage when there's a lot of them. But I see that Tech Lab come down the barracks, and I'm hoping it's not Stim. I don't want to see Stim. I want to see some cool mech things. Yes!
Oh, well, you wish. I was going to say, you know, Beastyqt, even though he's like the experimental guy, and certainly mech is the new experiment of the day, it's the experiment of the month or whatever, changing it up, you know, that whole argument, like, you know, the fact that bio and mech could be viable would be an interesting way to play a best of this mech.
Liberator is going to manage to sneak through the backside. It's not going to get too much for this, though. It does find a sweet spot outside the pylons. I believe it's outside the range, at least. So screw with Drogo's mining, albeit for a small amount of time. Both players, though, with thirds. So nobody's really too all in with any of their builds. I'm hoping to see a really awesome late game composition. That Liberator's dead. Rest in peace.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
They're just leapfrogging around to build tech labs for the factories.
I mean, that's what you use for the factories, you know. Now they're getting revenge, and the barracks is the one's going to be used for all of that. But medevac actually comes out, I guess, just to do a single Widow Mine drop.
This is actually going to be kind of interesting because there is some detection out in the field. The observer, I'm not sure if caught what was inside the medevac or not, but did see the medevac leave. So stalkers, observers, everyone's just kind of looking around. This one Marine, hey buddy, you found some use. Good job.
It's probably not Cyclones in the medevac. I think if he had to guess, you know, he'd be probably guessing right.
Well, but nowadays, you never know, man. New changes, new things.
God, a Cyclone drop, amazing. It's going to be the greatest. The pylon coverage is obviously really good, so I probably shouldn't do very much.
Ooh, yeah, that got right. It is worth noting when it comes to the Cyclones, they still do bonus damage versus armored, and with like a 0.1 attack speed, they're going to tear through any buildings they can get close to. So, while it sounds a little bit silly, and I'm not saying it's viable, it kind of makes me think of like the Immortal drops Protoss will do, where you just pick off pylons and depots. I kind of feel like Cyclones might have that same potential.
Maybe.
Thank you, Bad Decaf, by the way. There's been a lot of resubs. I just want to mention, we'll get to them after the game, guys. So if you resub during this game, we love you. We'll get you caught up afterwards.
Yeah, Templar Archives, super quick, is... I mean, okay, so, like... all the changes aside from like all the individual units, there were different ways to deal with just mech straight up for the past 6 years. Like even Wings of Liberty mech compared to initial Legacy of the Void mech, they were kind of the same thing. Like you tried to out expand them, you tried to out upgrade them, and then you had 2 different compositions to really go. Well, technically 3 compositions, I suppose, which is mass gateways with Archons, and then Stargate, or Archons and Immortals rather, and then Stargate options. I would really have loved to see the Stargate option because, of course, the carrier has been changed, and you hear people saying that it's actually kind of good, and still people saying it's still bad. Like, who knows?
Not only that, but you gotta consider like oracles are gonna be so valuable with scouting now, especially when you're trying to figure out what your opponent's doing. With everything up in the air and question marks, having that constant revelation, knowing exactly where the army is, what buildings are being built at all times, is huge, and that leads into things like the carriers and whatnot.
Well, it is going to be the charge upgrade, you know, Archon Immortal, which, I mean, is a very sturdy composition. I mean, it's fine. I would have liked some carriers.
Well, so here's the thing about the Immortals, though, right? They still bust through armored units, and I want to see carriers, too. I want to see cool stuff, but you consider Cyclones armored, tanks armored. Like, everything here that's armored is just going to get completely wrecked by Immortals, and with the wave of Zealots soaking out the hits in the front, none of these Cyclones are going to get their chance to just melt the Immortals as a countermeasure.
I will be interested to see what the actual fight looks like. Basically, I mean, they're pretty even supply. The Protoss army, I think would get better, especially given the proper positioning. But that's what's kind of nice about Frozen Temple is that there's one abuse position for tanks that is used when people go bio as well, and it's a very obvious position, like down the middle, like easy rally.
We do need to talk about tanks just a little bit, too, to hover over their damage, guys. Look at that, 70 versus armored. So, as I was mentioning before, Immortals have got the best damage when it comes to the party, but they don't have the best range. So those tanks are going to shoot those Immortals from so far away and get some very serious damage done.
The tanks are now scary.
The Voiders are a very interesting choice, too. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not so sure about it, because it is only 1 Voider at a time. Like, 5 Voiders don't help an awful lot. 10 Void Rays is, like, you know, a lot of damage, but... Can he actually get up that much?
The new Magfield launch upgrade looks really weird.
It
cool.
does. What even supposed to be?
+2 range on the Cyclone's attack, I guess. But here's why I think the Voider is a really interesting choice. For those who don't know, Voider is already pretty much wreck Vikings. Like Vikings just don't stand up to them. Okay. But that aside, consider what anti-air is available now for Beasty. Cyclones apparently have garbage anti-air. Their lock-on only does 160 damage over its full duration of 14 seconds. Like, nothing here is exactly going to melt through a Void Ray. So I think having 1 or 2 is actually a really nice addition, I guess.
Maybe.
Oh, but
I
maybe
like
we're going to get to see some of them sweet, sweet carriers.
Yeah, I like the Fleet Beacon better. So apparently, like, PtitDrogo did some math, right? And the fact, I'm going to bring it up because there's actually stalkers on the field here. They're probably going to be phased out for bigger and better units or more easily replaceable units like charge lots. But apparently, like a +3 tank, like 2 shots a stalker, no matter its upgrades or something like that. Like that's pretty insane.
Oh,
and he's like on his way to +3. He's going to get there.
That scam, by the way, did not see the second Stargate or the Fleet Beacon.
Oh, right.
Now, I'm sure BC in the back of his mind is concerned about air. I think every Terran player who's played mech since ever has been concerned about air. To talk a little bit about why carriers are a bigger deal and why we keep referencing them, one of the biggest changes is the fact that interceptors are basically free now. Like, let's be honest. 5 minerals is nothing.
Bunker change.
Oh, man, these stalkers are absolutely shreked.
Yeah, I don't know why the thing certainly about any Protoss's game plan against mech now is that the Blink Stalker harassment early on is probably going to be less and less effective, and people are going to be pushing more aggressively earlier on with tanks if they try and go for the Blink Stalker aggression, just because tanks are like super good now. So that'll be interesting watching the matchup go forward. But now it's okay. Like now it's still working out. Like BaseTradeTV is turtling for a while. Now he's after 150 supply, he can start pushing out.
I like what he's doing here, though. Okay, he didn't scan directly to see if there's carriers, but I think he knows, because at this point, Widow Mines with drilling claws are a huge deal when it comes to dealing with carriers. Vikings being produced a couple of times, he just threw in another starport. He's got Thors coming out. He knows he needs anti-air of some variety. So whether this is Beasty playing guesswork at timing or just intuitively knowing how Drogo's going to play, this is very important that he has that anti-air ready to go. Now, 3 pylons overcharged are going to keep the Cyclones from coming in too early, too easily. Tanks are just trying to leapfrog forward. They've got the damage. Look at that. 2 tanks almost, oh my god, taking on a pylon in like 3 volleys.
Yeah, it's only 6 tanks though, and 2 of them are now on
worried about,
and this is a good concave for Drogo.
It is, but I'm worried about this because, again, these tanks deal so much damage. Is Drogo ready to take his army out? Viking's going to land to try and add some damage to the fight, but it looks like Drogo's still going to clean this army up.
Yeah, I don't really agree with Beastyqt. What? Oh,
Liberator in the main, I guess.
Okay. Okay, whatever. Anyway, like the carriers could deal with it, right? But anyways, I guess they weren't quite out. That was a really good fight. Like that positioning was really good, and I don't know about Beastyqt going towards that direction. Like I understand wanting to get rid of the 4th base, but he did put himself in probably the most concavable area on Frozen Temple, especially since Drogo was smart enough to break down the rocks.
This could hurt Drogo, actually. I will say a significant amount. He's not gotten the carrier upgrade for interceptors. Graviton Catapult. There we go. Starts it now. I guess in the heat of battle, he just didn't have time to make it. It's a pretty big deal because carriers did lose their ability to dump their interceptors, so the rate at which they leave the carrier is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And of course now they've been killed.
I love the attempt at Blue Flame Harass, by the way. That's like 3 different bases BC's tried to hit. It's not getting a lot done, but it's not a bad way to use your minerals at this point. But still a pretty respectable worker count for Drogo behind this. In fact, income for BC still looking fantastic. Drogo barely touched by it, though.
The carriers are going to be... I'm so glad we're getting carriers, by the way. Like, I'm really looking forward to what this looks like. And we're going to get combination Carrier, Storm, Archon. That's pretty brutal for any composition.
It is, but for me, it's something that's perhaps a little susceptible to ghosts. I know it's not intuitive because you're not playing bio, but an EMP here and there can wreck the Storms, obviously, but also take away all those shields from the carriers, the Archons. I mean, it's something that I don't think we're going to see invested into, but something that I feel like should be, question mark?
Maybe. It's always like, we've brought this up for other compositions, and it's just like, can't even afford ghosts. Basically, it can technically, I suppose, like he has 5 bases and he was banking a little bit, but it is still a question of also getting the additional barracks, so it's not one ghost at a time, taking forever. One EMP doesn't exactly cover everything. And just like, do you try and do it, or you try and get maxed out again on your mech, which he's having a little bit of trouble doing.
So I want to go back on this point, by the way. Thor's get transformed. That's cool. I forgot about that. We saw the Widow Mine upgrade. I was expecting to see a lot more Widow Mines, actually, because back in Legacy of the Void Beta, when carriers were actually super duper broken, like the most broken thing you've ever seen in the game, how do you beat them? It was us going like mass widow mines that finally killed carriers. When I say mass widow mine, I mean we went like 40 plus widow mines in our composition in Archon mode, and this was not like trolly stuff. This was actually a way to deal with them at the time, and I kind of feel like some of that is going to be residual for this. Helling's going to run by once again, catch a nice probe transfer by that blue flame, roasted toasty, 16 probes dead. New base to the bottom left. Actually, does he know about? He doesn't know about that. Awkward.
Well, they're gonna find out.
It's a free when he gets to it.
The widow mines, I still think, are going to be an answer, like especially with the drilling claws. Even though storms can technically blanket them, especially like if they're all clumped up going forward, I still think it's a worthwhile investment, especially because they can be reactored out and are pretty cheap.
High-sec auto tracking, something I'm a little bit interested about regarding range on those turrets. Hop up with carriers maybe a little bit, but the fight takes place a little bit sooner than I think Beastyqt was expecting. The planetary and the turrets, they're going to be enough to buy time for the army to get here in position, but man, despite the fact that that's a lot of Vikings, what can that Raven do? Recalibrated explosives.
Bad. Like, the tanks being unsieged feel kind of useless here. Storm's off with the Vikings, too.
Point defense doesn't actually affect interceptors, for those who don't know, so it's no bueno here. Does try to tries to get around, but it's not going to be good enough. GG.
So much for Mech being good. I was lied to. Just kidding.
There's a lot of like still question marks around that. I want to point out there was an upgrade Beastie was going for though that's pretty important, and it's new for the Raven, and it increases the range and the damage of the Seeker missile. So was kind of hoping to see maybe a little bit more of that action too. But regardless, that's going to be the series going to Drogo with a nice clean 2-0. Next up will be Marine Lord versus a Laser. That'll be a TVZ, which we'll get to see the new Terran versus Zerg state of things. Zerg, I feel, didn't get too severely tweaked, but most interestingly, Swarm hosts appear to be somewhat viable now. We'll talk more on that when we return, though, guys. If you want to check out the patch notes, they're available, public, all that good stuff. But there's going to be about a 5-minute break, so we're going to go on our break, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes to talk about more when we return.